So I've got Olivia Bentley and Bella Campbell today.
The sort of common part was that we both lacked confidence sexually.
Girls have messaged you about hair loss. You spoke really openly about that.
I'd never even heard of alopecia. Like, it wasn't, and because Instagram wasn't a thing, it just wasn't spoken about. So whereas now I think a lot more people are more open.
When you were younger, you went through quite a taxing experience, your physical health, your mental health.
Yeah. I was on a job, collapsed, and they were like, oh, you've got glandular fever, or it's just flu. And I was like, this does not feel like that. Anyway, an MRI scan later, swollen brain. Was there encephalitis? My body had just basically given up.
Encephalitis is so serious.
Anything that knocks you in some way is going to affect your confidence. You'll find out for yourself what works for you. The one thing that I found really helped, and still helps now, is...
Hi, I'm Dr. Jane Leonard. I'm a GP and cosmetic doctor, and this is the Confidence Clinic. Every week, I'm going to be sitting down with different guests to talk about their life story. We're going to talk about how they got to where they've got, the challenges they've overcome along the way, and how confidence has played a role in their journey. So thank you for joining me, girls. So I've got Olivia Bentley and Bella Campbell today. So we're talking about everything related to confidence again. So the Confidence Clinic, the main thing about it is talking about life experiences, good and bad, that end up building, restoring, enhancing our confidence. So talking about your stories as your friendship and moving forward about your business. So tell me, how did you two first meet and become friends?
So, we should come up with something slightly more professional than this. So Bella and I first met in our friend's kitchen, and Bella turned to me and she was like, do you want to go on a dirty weekend to Ibiza? I was like, yes. Leave the boyfriend at home. Anyway, that is actually how we became friends. We didn't go to Ibiza, but...
You didn't actually do it?
No, not in the end. I wonder how our friendship would have turned out if we had gone.
Well, we actually ended up being quite sensible. And we'd started then getting into a routine after that. The next morning, got up early and walked like the 2 bridges near where we live along the river, stomping the streets, talking about life.
And I think that's when I turned to you and I said, is it weird that I fake orgasming? And I can't remember if you... No, I think you said to me...
What? That was on your first walk when you first...
Yeah, because I think Bella and I just clicked. You know, sometimes when you've got those friends that you can just feel like you can talk about anything and there's like no judgment, there's nothing. And I think that was like how our friendship started, was just talking about everything.
We're both quite open.
Yeah. And I think we come from
back.
maybe too open. Like, I gave Bella's mum for Christmas a vibrator.
Oh, my mum was very grateful.
And some lingerie. And so we had this conversation, and then I think literally from that, we then started talking more about so many different things sex-related. And then eventually that's how we started JOMO.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how you bonded initially. You felt really open, confident, safe to share with you about your sex life. Because not many people talk about it. I mean, it's something that we all maybe think about, but talking about these things and sharing them, it only has to get really bad for you to say, God, this is happening to me. Yeah. This has ever happened to you.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? Going, is it normal? Or have you ever done this? Or what do you think of this? And that is literally it. You're like, oh, okay, I'm not alone.
But it's so interesting but everyone I feel like has gone through the same thing. Like the amount of conversations we've had between us, I'm pretty sure everyone would have thought about the same thing. Yeah. Like it's so...
In some way.
Yeah.
That is definitely a thing, definitely with girls, I think. Well, more than guys, obviously, that orgasms or sexual pleasure or like sexual wellness, that's your brand's all about. People don't talk about it, people don't share it, and you don't really know what's right for you until you start to explore it.
But also I think it's so different for girls than it is for guys. Like, so guys are like, oh, you're a wank. Like, girls don't... I don't know, I think girls don't put themselves first when it comes to what they want sexually. And it's like, in my mentality towards sex was very much like, oh, once the guys... came just, I kind of just couldn't even get the words out. Once they've like orgasmed, that's it, that's sex done. Forgetting that actually girls need to enjoy it too. And that's why I used to say to Bells, what's the point of me faking it? Because I thought that's what sort of almost that was it kind of thing.
And also that's what you thought needed to
guys
be done.
Wanted almost.
Also for their confidence, your confidence.
I dread to think there's noises I was putting on, by the way. Can't have been right.
And also that is the thing, we live in such an overly sexualized world, but not necessarily sex positive.
Yeah.
So what we're taught is necessarily not the right things.
Sorry, sex scenes in films. I don't think I've ever had sex in a doorway. I don't think that's possible. Standing upright.
It never quite works, does it?
It's never.
No. Sort of
unless you're like...
yeah, you're trying.
Oh, just on the sofa's fine, but...
But it's like that thing, or you thinking the worst case scenario is when you would just want to go, just get it over with.
Yeah.
And that is so the wrong thing.
That's
in
when
that
you'd
situation.
like go, flip it to doggy, that'll make them go.
So from this point then, what were the next steps in your friendship? Let's talk about that first. So you obviously bonded on, sort of say sex level, that sounds wrong.
Luckily, we've never shared partners.
Or each other.
No. So, and then I think it must have been a year after we sort of first met that then it was beginning of lockdown. And it was literally just from those conversations, we just talked more and more about it, and then eventually got on to talking about being on medication and how, not medication, but what affects your sex life and down there. And then that's how we got onto it, because Bella went through stuff when she was younger.
And vice versa.
Yeah, we both did. I think it was overall what we realised was the sort of common part was that we both lacked confidence sexually, which is how we then, created
And generally, like, it filters into so many different aspects of life, like confidence. And also then, if what we're doing, like our teaming together of my background with the wellness and the ingredient side that I'm really interested in, and Liv's platform to be able to speak and share and things that Liv's been through, actually together we were like, if we can do something where we can help others that we also believe in and want to talk about, and where we all learn and can help together, then that's surely gonna,
And I think our biggest thing actually was more just like making you feel confident. I think that's like when you were younger made you feel more confident, or did you not?
No, I was awful. I was painfully shy.
Yeah, me too.
And like wouldn't even say boo to a goose, to the point where I'd get my brother to ask a waiter for a glass of water. I mean, how pathetic
really?
is that? Yeah.
I was the same. I had this blushing problem. Every time I'd speak or someone give me attention, my face would, even if I was trying to hold together, literally would be like a raspberry, or even I think at times turn blue. It went purple. Honestly, and when I look now and think I'm doing things even like this, how have I changed my mindset of doing it? And I suppose that's the purpose of all, I've called it the confidence. It's about putting yourself forward, taking chances, building your confidence in that
and
way.
embracing yourself and realising.
But it takes time.
Yeah. And also, I think we actually had it easier probably growing up now to what teenagers do.
Oh my God. Yeah. I would not, by the way, you'd have to pay me serious money to be a teenager now.
I mean, I mean, social media is a blessing, but also I think here we are when it's actually a platform we all use. But I think it's so detrimental to people's well-being. Like the pressures that we think of what society, in inverted commas, says we should be like, or what we think we should now be like, is like, it's so far gone that we forget it's okay just to be you. And if something's not right and you don't feel good, then it's okay to talk, and normalizing things that are actually normal.
Yeah.
I mean, and to your point, it's taken me, and I'm like nearly 40, all this time to grow my confidence. So if I was kind of putting my life, your face, your friends, whatever, always in the public domain, and where you don't really know who you are, like, you can easily make mistakes or do things that would really impact you, and moving forward and getting over that.
And then it's recorded for life as well, isn't
exactly.
it? Like, we didn't even have that
perception to be perfect the whole time. Like, I look at it when I get messages from girls who like go through hair loss, I think they're like, oh, like they're really miserable about it, but it's because they see so many stunning people out there, like physically stunning, and I don't know, I think it's just so like
living their best life,
which, to be honest, they're probably not living their best life. I actually am convinced the more you like post your shit on social media, the more unhappy you actually are. Like,
because you're seeking affirmation constantly from others.
Validation.
I mean, I can't talk, I love putting a little selfie up. Bikini one for the likes. No, but I'm not being funny. If I suddenly feel a bit shit, I probably would put a photo up just to get like a few compliments here and there.
Well, that's a good thing though. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think there's pros and cons to all of it, and I think it's just...
But is it though? Is it a good thing? That's the question that then it boils down to. Should we not be able to like go from ourselves? We like ourselves from the inside. We don't need other people to tell us we're good. It doesn't matter necessarily.
It's a good thing to have the confidence to put yourself out there and know what potentially might boost you or make you feel better.
Yeah, Mark from Liverpool, if that is the aubergines. I'm like, hello, flames. Thank you.
Sliding into the DMs.
So there's two important points we just discussed there. So I want to just go back to talking about Jomo, with the birth of Jomo.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think is the main things that cause women in general to have so many confidence issues related to their sexuality, sexual confidence, sexual wellness? What do you think from your experience can be applied to many other people, do you think?
I think a lot of women are nervous and scared of possibly not wanting, probably, I don't know, I think maybe people find it hard to figure out what it is they want. And I don't think it's always easy to say to a partner, listen, perhaps we do this position, or perhaps we try this or something else. I don't know. I think women are, I mean, I don't know, maybe they're just a bit scared. I don't know.
I don't think there's one rule that fits all.
Yeah.
And I think everyone will have something that is their own nuance thing. So it could be anything from going through menopause, childbirth, your weight, something that happened in the past with a previous partner, the fact that you still haven't quite got to know yourself and don't know how to express what you want, or feeling like you just want to please your partner, and also thinking that the end goal is always about the orgasm, when actually it's, you know, there are so many different things that I don't necessarily think there's one aspect.
I also don't think things like porn help, because I think women have this idea of what they're meant to be like, and it's definitely not like that.
And I think it's one of those things that you kind of, many people, particularly when I was young, didn't really talk about it, and you kind of learn by doing it, but you don't know if you're doing it right. It takes a long time to kind of like get confidence in that way. So if you have your confidence knocked, you're going to go even further backwards, because you're just going to go more into your shell about it.
Yeah.
And it's so easy for a bloke to knock a girl's confidence, especially in the bedroom, because it's your most like vulnerable, and then those things stick with you.
Yeah, even if they don't mean to.
Yeah, totally.
You know, we always had in our head, if someone didn't orgasm, then it meant the sex wasn't good. And why we were all taught that when we were young.
Why did we think that if a guy didn't come, it just means because you assume it's because you're shit or you're doing something wrong, when actually, and we speak about this a lot, we get lots of did we get a message about it? So Bella and I obviously see all the like testimonials that people send through, and loads of people always give,
which we
they're like
appreciate.
We love actually, but give their feedback on the product. And there's so many, and having actually spoken to some guys, the way they look at it is so the opposite of the way girls are thinking. So we automatically think it's us, but the guys are actually, it's them who are either nervous, they're the ones who feel like, who are scared, and like it's just so interesting how, I don't know, how
the pressure's on both sides.
Yeah. But the communication often isn't there, is it?
You're
thinking one thing, they're thinking something else. That's it, you don't fancy me, that's it.
And that's why we started JOMO, is it's like the communication, empowering, which is such an overused word, but giving confidence to everyone.
But also, I was with JOMO as well, I think sometimes sex isn't just about wham bam thank you man kind of thing. It's like taking your time, actually enjoying it, and like even the process of getting JOMO, applying, do you know what I mean? Like, even that like 3 minutes is already making it more of a like more of a romantic,
you're building
exploration
kind of and bonding between yourself, if it's solo play, or with a partner. And like Liv says, like with JOMO, you take your bottle or whatever, and because it's a multifunctional oil, from body oil to massage to
you can put it anywhere. And it's lickable. Keep having to remind everyone.
Lickable, not drinkable.
Don't
lickable.
drink it.
So talk us through exactly what it is. So it's the CBD.
It's a CBD body massage and arousal oil. So it's all 100% natural, all vegan, but it basically works as, it's got like vitamin E in, so it's great for your skin, but it's also, this is how also we created the formula for JOMO, is trying to find something that was like pH neutral, because obviously women suffer loads down there with whether it's shower gels or anything really knocks your pH balance. So this is like neutral, so it won't affect that. And you can pretty much put it anywhere. Yeah.
So yeah, it's all natural with the ingredients, and the CBD is our hero ingredient.
Yes.
So it not only acts as like a muscle relaxant for people that might find discomfort during intercourse, but also it stimulates blood flow. Yeah.
Which
so
heightens,
then
and it's so calming as well, isn't it? So in those situations, it can make you feel more relaxed mentally as well.
And I love the smell of it.
Yeah,
I think
it's not too overpowering.
It's not like that sticky strawberry stuff that you're cracking off your bedsheet.
And not slimy. And you know, you like when you're massaging it in, you can let the botanicals sink into the skin. They then work their magic. You can use it on your partner, on yourself, your partner on you. And you know, even sometimes outside the bedroom, you know, I'll put it on my shoulders just to like calm myself if I'm feeling a little bit. And also the bottle. Like one thing we wanted is, you know, when you look at other brands and they have the plastic bottles and they're sort of slipping out your hand and they're smelling gross and they're really slimy, and you're like, this is not the one. We wanted something that
looked elegant
part,
and also and trying to like I think change the stigma that surrounds whether it's like masturbation or just sex generally, because I think there's such a like association when you talk about, especially female masturbation, I suppose, when you talk about it, people assume it's seedy, like there's seedy connotations
so
with
stigma
it
attached to
when
it.
it shouldn't be. Like it actually is quite and I hate the word again, but empowering. Like it is a very I don't know. So we wanted something that looked like a perfume bottle that you woun't be embarrassed to have on your bedside table, because as much as Bella and I are confident in discussing our sex lives, not everyone is. And so it was like a sort of side of.
And don't get me wrong. Like I say, I love talking about it. I love talking about it because I find it interesting, and I like learning, and I like seeing what people say. But I still get nervous. Like if I'm gonna sleep, I mean, obviously now I'm engaged. Like I can't say if I'm gonna sleep with a new partner. Obviously that is not gonna happen. But in the past, of course you're gonna get nervous. Like it's new territory. It's like vulnerable. You're like showing your bare self.
I don't think I have had. Well, not that I've got a one-night stand, 'cause I've got a boyfriend. But I haven't had the first time I've ever slept with anyone, I've been drunk. I don't think I could do it sober. Like a new person.
That's all to do with confidence, isn't it?
I think
the Dutch courage of some people.
That's not ideal either, is it?
No, because then you're not being
20
necessarily your
vodkas
true
down.
version of yourself.
Yeah.
So
Definitely thought I was a porn star, but sure.
I think it's great though, something that you can use on your own and with a partner, and it's encouraging both sides of it, and mainly for you to feel comfortable in yourself and find out what works for you, I suppose.
Because also there's a whole thing about masturbation as a like that's like good like the mental health side of it, as well as like taking time, and that's how we came up with the name forJOMO, was joy of missing out, and like really experiencing the here and now, taking time for yourself as well as like being with a partner.
So important.
Yeah, that's so important. It's such a great name because it does.
And jealous of my
with that
as in it stands for I'm jealous of my orgasm.
Yeah, we hashtagged jealous
Yeah.
of my orgasm. So it's the joy of missing out, but we also then have played on the on the words.
both work.
Well done us.
Well done us.
Going back to what you were saying, Liv, before about girls who message you about hair loss, you spoke really openly about that.
Oh yeah. So
How did that affect you?
well, I actually think I was almost lucky because social media was not a thing, but I was like 15, 16, and clumps of my hair started coming out, and I sort of had like the odd bald patch around my head. And I'm trying to think, my confidence was, it was not great at all. Like, and then I got into wearing wigs and all that stuff. It got worse when I joined Made in Chelsea, because I'd get all these comments, and I said this the other day on a podcast actually, in my eyes, I don't think my hair looked bad. Like I've seen clips back and I thought it looked normal, but everyone was like, you bald bitch, go and grow some hair. Like really savage stuff. Yeah, and then that's when I was like, oh God, everyone thinks I'm really ugly. I need long blonde hair to look attractive. And that was like my view on hair for like so long.
How old were you then when all that was kicking off?
So that was when I was about 20, 21.
I mean, at any age, I don't know why I asked your age, because at any age it's awful, but at that age, like going back to what we were saying before about building up who you are.
And when I actually first got it, so I wasn't obviously on the show, I was still at school. When I was 16, no one gives a fuck about your personality. They just care about the way you look. Like and to be a girl age 16, I hadn't grown a pair of tits at that point because I was pretty underdeveloped. Then my hair was falling out. I was like, I'm basically a bloke, and like I felt so unattractive. And then it was quite hard actually. And I went to a co-ed school. But it got worse actually when I left school, and then I just used to cover it up with wigs and do all the things that you're not meant to do to your hair. And then weirdly in the last like 2 years it's sort of been fine. I don't know, maybe I think
You went brunette as well. I went brunette. You stopped, and like you started really like embracing just being.
But I would bleach it so much because when you have darker hair, it's obvious where the bald patches are. And I remember I was babysitting these kids once, and they were like, "Oh, what's that?" I was like, "That's my bald head, you cheeky." Didn't say the word, obviously. But I sort of basically, if you've got hair loss, don't put hair extensions in. Do not bleach your hair. Just leave it alone.
And it's kind of like sometimes a vicious circle, because a lot of it, hair loss, it can be medically related to stuff like pregnancy.
Well, mine was from the pill.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
it was I didn't even know that was a side effect of the pill, and I'd literally been on it for 2 months because I remember when my mum took me to the doctor, because at first I thought I just ripped it out with a hairbrush and it was like my hair was wet. Anyway, it just never came back. So I went to the doctor and they were like, "Oh, it was alopecia areata."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Have you been on the pill recently?" I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "That's it." I was like, "Great." So I came off the pill, still didn't grow back. But it took like a good 5 years for it all to eventually.
Yeah. Because when it first happens, it just can stress and will stress you out.
Oh my God,
and
don't.
then stress is adds
And
on to
everyone
what
says,
really
you just don't stress about
Yeah.
it. Well, your hair's not coming out the shower, is it? Like, you're standing, like, molting.
It's like, and then you're like, how to kind of break that cycle and have some kind of plateau
Yeah.
in the effects of it. But yeah, because as female, but also as guys, I say that as girls.
I
it
think
can
for girls
affect
it is a bit harder though, like...
particularly like you say, it's the stereotypical thing of what makes you feel feminine,
Yeah.
what makes you feel sexy,
and what makes you more
confident.
girlier than your hair. And I think for so many people, everyone's hair's like their crown. Like, I don't know, do you know what I mean? It's sort of, yeah, I don't know. So I sort of learned to just not give a fuck about my hair, because I'm never going to have thick, long, luscious hair, and just, yeah, try and work on my personality.
How has that then experience helped you now, confidence wise, like making get the silver lining out of it all?
So actually, when I joined Chelsea was about 7 years ago, and I spoke about it 3 years in, I'd say, because I had my short hair, which I thought was fine, got loads of comments, so then I started wearing a wig, and then the show were like, would you ever want to talk about why you're wearing a wig? So then I was like, oh, okay, fine. And I was really nervous about doing it. I was like, oh, people are going to think I'm nuts, or people are going to be like, what the fuck? Anyway, spoke about it on the show, and then I've never had so many nice messages from so many people. Really? And also so many people saying they went through the exact same thing from the exact same pill. And they're like, they're so glad that I spoke about it, because no one ever talks about it. And when I was younger, when I was 16 and I got it, I'd never even heard of alopecia. Like, it wasn't, and because Instagram wasn't a thing, it just wasn't spoken about. So whereas now I think a lot more people are more open about talking about it, and realise honestly how many people suffer with it. Teenage girls, so many. And also now, because of the stress of everything, like exams, lockdown, I think caused a lot of things for girls.
Just me as being a GP, like a lot of people who had COVID experience, not during it, but the stress and intensity of the illness, all of on the physical and mental health. Because obviously, who knew what was happening during that time in the world? So like people lost their hair often on the side effects of that, because it affected so many people. You've seen it loads and loads, and it's just a matter of like keeping your fingers crossed, looking after yourself. Don't be stressed. All the usual things. Like, just don't stress about it. But it's a bit tricky.
Sure, babes.
Yeah. You know, then with time, you know, it does resolve and your hair starts to grow back. But it's that uncertainty, and uncertainty causes so much stress and is another sort of impact on your
because
confidence.
I didn't know. I mean, I actually, in the big scheme of things, was really lucky. Like, mine was nothing compared to what some people lose every hair on their body. Like, mine was not that at all. But I was very much like, is it eventually going to just all of it come out, or I didn't really know, and no one can really tell you anything, because no one knows,
unknown, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's so personal to you. Bella, before we started chatting, I was going to say on air, but we are. Yeah, we are. You were talking about when you were younger, you went through quite a taxing experience, physical health, your mental health.
Yeah. So I basically just burning the candle, you know, thinking we're invincible.
Yeah.
Doing my day job, working as a makeup artist, and then, you know, in the evening when you're freelance, you know, you want to top up your account, fingers and pies. So what
does that mean? Fingers and all pies.
Yeah, well, hello.
What does it mean?
Jomo. Yeah, I worked on nightclub doors, not as like a bouncer, but you know, with a clipboard. You know,
I know you.
I would love to look into this, because I swear to God, I would have been 15 and you would have been on the door. Me with my jelly boobs, by the way, which were great. Like this, and then
me with all my layers as a Michelin man, not being able to move my arms because it was so bloody cold in winter. So yeah, I was the door bitch, you know, that would say, oh, can you come and can you not? Anyway, and then added stress of just various things in personal life all played a role into then my body, which I wasn't listening to and giving it enough love. And, you know, also I wanted to do everything. I didn't want to miss out. And then eventually your body goes, I don't think so. And it just literally packed up. I was on a job, collapsed, and they were like, oh, you've got glandular fever, or it's just flu. And I was like, this does not feel like that. Anyway, an MRI scan later, swollen brain. Was there encephalitis? My body had just basically given up.
Encephalitis is so serious.
So it was ME, chronic fatigue, of what they used to call yuppie flu. So it wasn't even really a thing. Obviously, only I could get a problem that was called ME, me. Oh God. But yeah, I got to the point where, you know, you lose all the things that you take for granted.
Yeah.
You know, just being able to get up and go for a walk. You know, sometimes having not even enough energy, and your head pounding so much you can't even get yourself to the loo.
Jesus.
And you realise in the end, like, A, who your friends are, B, what your priorities are, and then C, there's actually no real cure. And I didn't want to read about what everyone else was had and how what their symptoms were, because I was like, that is only going to be a negative spiral for me, self-checking every day. All I wanted to know was what other people had done to help themselves. And I think that's the thing. Either you go, oh, poor me, or you go, right, I'm going to suck this up and I'm going to get better.
How long do you think until you had that, like when it first happened, was the turning point when you were like, I'm actually going to help myself now? Did you wallow in it? Not wallow in it, but like, were you a bit like...
I was so out of it, I think, for so long, sleeping so much and like the excruciating pain, that it wasn't until then that it would then starting to switch. But yeah, I think, it did affect the confidence side, because what are your abilities left with? But it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm totally fine now. Found some amazing things that helped. They're all probably a bit woo-woo, but love that. And Liv's looking at me
I love when
going,
you say woo-woo, it makes me think of you going out and hugging trees and being like, licking bark. Help me, give me love.
But, you realise what's important, and you reassess your life and always know that you're, without your health, you actually can't do anything. And your gratitude changes. Like, the things that are important then were different to now. Liv and I both have like these habits now where we get up really early. We love walking. Both of us, I think, when we're like on it.
Yeah.
When I say on it, I mean like on the positive side is getting up and like walking and getting that really, really...
And just being
good
fucking
routine.
grateful. Like, I know that sounds bad, but I think, I don't know, I wonder whether people, I don't know, I wonder that people aren't as grateful as they used to be, but like we're all... No, I don't know. I always think no one's died. Like, no one's died. We have so much to be grateful for. Like, we should actually, don't know, take it in our stride almost. And
I was just going to say, I think, firstly, thanks for sharing that, because it's only when really bad things happen to you, you really take stock. And talking about health things, obviously me being medical, like encephalitis and ME are both massive things, and particularly encephalitis, that's a life-threatening thing. You know what I mean? You said your brain swollen, something like that to happen to you. Even that, and then maybe, the aftermath of the recovery, the strain it was on your body, not what potentially led up to it, but having it, getting over it. Actually, like going through that when you're so young, when you weren't anticipating it.
I can't believe
And it's really
23.
isolating as well. I think anything like that
It was
happening
really
to you.
isolating. Yeah, I think, but I however crap it is, there's always someone that's going through something worse, and it's all relative.
But then what you always say to me is that everyone's different. Like, just because someone's going through something worse, which actually completely defeats what I just said a minute ago, but like, just because someone's going through something worse, it doesn't mean you're not going through isn't serious.
Yeah, that is true. There's a balance to it, isn't it? There's always something going through worse, but actually what you're going through is valid to yourself at that time.
Right.
Like, it's okay to feel, and it's good to feel. Yes, I'm lucky, I function great now in my eyes, in inverted commas.
You do function great.
And but yeah, I think anything that knocks you in some way is going to affect your confidence, and it will be down to you to find what is your little tools that help you get by in life, and that is down to only you. You can have people help guide you, but you'll find out for yourself what works for you.
That's great advice, definitely. What did you change at the time when you kind of come through it and you were like, God, I was literally, to use your terms, burning the candle at both ends? But I've done that. Like, it's in a situation where you don't realise you're doing it because your mind's on the jet stream, your focus. It does show to the power of the mind in some ways that you kind of can shut out your body to a certain extent until it goes, hang on, enough's enough, and I'm out. And then you literally are out. Full.
Yeah, because your adrenal glands start running on overdrive. Your cortisol levels are through the roof. You're running on adrenaline. You don't stop, and your body, and your body's just going. And until your body go, unless you listen to it, and actually that is my only advice: listen to your body, and take time for yourself. Hence JOMO, the joy of missing out. It's okay not to say yes to everything. Yeah. You don't have to do everything. Do what actually fills your soul.
I know, I was going to say, I think that's where lockdown actually was helpful in so many ways, because I think everyone is so like,
to stop.
What's happening this weekend? What are we doing then? Like, trying to do this like fast-paced lifestyle, which not everyone actually, I don't enjoy all that. And like actually taking time literally just to, you do you.
Yeah, and that is our thing. JOMO, joy of missing out. It's okay not to say yes to everything. Listen to your body. Do the things that also fill you with joy. It sounds selfish, but actually you're not, because everything comes back down to you. If you if you are feeling good and settled in yourself, you've got stuff in your tank for yourself, but then you've also got enough in your tank for the people around you that you love and care about. So I think that would be my parting words. I don't know.
No, I like that.
No, it's so true. And I think it's really an important point that, again, that when negative things happen to you, and obviously that was a massive chapter in your life, that, you know, you've kind of took a step back from it, made changes, and it turned out to be a good thing. Like you say, put things into perspective, and like,
I mean, I
you
used
know
to be
yourself better because of it.
I used to be a night owl, and now I'm like, I love a morning.
Yeah.
The earlier the better. I love to get up before the world starts. I mean, Liv is the same. She gets up at like 5 and she's already on it, like doing her walk, doing her exercising, getting her brain in gear for the day, you know. And that, like, it's everything. Everyone has different things that they enjoy, and it's like whatever releases those chemicals in your body of like the different endorphins, dopamine, whatever it is that gets you.
I think as well, that's a good point, because it shows how you can change as a person. Like, you can be one time like a night owl and being all about seeing your friends, going out, doing that chapter, but you can also change. Like, I think people sometimes think that this, you know, if you want to change, it can be done. You've just got to mean it and commit to it.
Yeah, totally.
That's so true.
But yeah, self-care is very important physically and mentally.
God, I'm so glad you said self-care and not self-love. I was reading something the other day. I hate the expression self-love for masturbation. A bit of self-love. Sounds really, really niche, doesn't it?
I loved what you
What are you doing in that room? Self-love.
What was the word that you said it in?
Rambly vibrations.
Yeah. Rambling vibrations.
No, rambly. Not even rambling. I was reading like a thing on a vibrator and expressed it as rambly vibrations.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Oh, God.
So I suppose, girls, to sum up what we're talking about, what are your advice, tips, or confidence things to when you're feeling like, we all have a day where you just feel a bit shit hard, get in the zone. What do you do to turn things around? Like,
Get some Jomo and smother it all over you. No, I'm joking.
Bathe in Jomo for sure. I'm trying to think. If I don't feel that confident, I'll tell myself, fuck it, no one cares, get on with it. Like, I'm quite a bit more not brutal about it, but I'm
give
like,
yourself a bit of tough chat.
yeah. Because I'm much better with that chat. Bella does it to me all the time.
that.
When I was going through a breakup, done about 500, but I'm back with a boyfriend. Bella was like, get a grip. And like this, and she'd shout at me, and honestly, it worked though, because then I was like, "Yeah, you're fine." But I think like
I don't care. He's had enough airtime.
Yeah,
That's it.
literally.
Obviously, I've got a real soft side. I'm
No,
basically a hardcore. I'm a hardcore bitch.
This was 2 weeks every day of crying. All right, so it was deserved. But no, I think I'm one of those people. I think I used to be so insecure and worry so much what other people think. So that if you're one of those people who does overthink way too much about that sort of thing, I just think. Yeah, don't know. Fuck it.
So mine would be
Not as aggressive as mine.
the one thing that I found really helped and still helps now is finding gratitude. So what I used to do, and actually still when I'm having wobble days, I'll be like, right, pull yourself together. And it could just be one thing that you find, but have your little book, like a really little notepad.
You know what? Actually, that really helped me. And you said it to me one day, and I was driving in the car, and you said something like, even if it's like the sun on your face. I remember
finding gratitude.
Yeah.
So to find something that you're grateful about that's happened that day, however big or small. Like for me, it sometimes would have been like when I was ill, I took myself to the loo. I didn't have to have help. That small. And then something that hasn't happened yet that you feel grateful for. So you embody that feeling. And you have one page of things that have happened, one page of like your, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, things that fill your soul, that you're like dreaming of, but you've got to really feel it like it's happened. And just in the morning, set yourself up, or in the evening when you get into bed. And that would be my thing that actually helps me the most. And like I said, there's not one thing fits all. It's whatever works for you. But
That's good. It's that expression of it, actually writing things down and visualising them and see it it lets things go, doesn't it? But it also lets you kind of see them too. So it's there in front of you. So it's actually like...
And reminding yourself that actually there is something good, that there will be something good that has happened that day. Waking up and getting out of bed, whatever it is, you have to dig deep and find something. One thing.
A bottle of Jomo in your side drawer.
I've got mine. Thank you for bringing it to me. I'll try it.
We can't wait to hear your feedback. Yeah.
I can't wait to try it. Can't wait. Bathing in that. This is amazing. So yeah. But yeah, thank you, girls. You've been amazing.
No, thank you very much for having
It's
us.
great.
Yeah,
to chat
thank
to
you
definitely.
Just
so
thinking you
much.
should be a life coach, honestly.
Yeah, I was actually.
You're really good. What do you leave from this? Fuck it. Oh yeah, that's great advice.
Oh yeah, that's actually what I should be saying. Fuck it. My jumper, by the way, says "fuck it" right across the front, along my boobs.
No, but it's good advice on both hands. Sometimes you do need to wake up call and think, look, I'm still alive, I'm still breathing. Like you say, people focus on themselves as you should, but everyone else is focused on themselves too. And not everyone's criticising you as much as you are.
Great advice.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Everyone's like, I'm like, actually, Jane, no one gives a shit about you because everyone else is thinking the same.
Well,
about
I tell myself that after a night out, and I go, it's fine. They were way drunker than you. I don't think the same applies. By the way, it's always me.
I've been in that situation.
No, it's
also.
the worst.
But
That gets me through the anxiety in the morning. Anyway.
anyway, thank you so much. That was brilliant.
Thank you for having
Thanks a
us.
lot.
Thank you
Thank
so much.